All right, Alexander, here's that analysis I was talking about that I was going to get over to you. So I've got you up here on the right, and then I've got Jamie Sadlowski up over here on the left side. And so I put him up here because he hits it a long, long ways and has a lot of power. Similar to you, you hit it a long ways, got a lot of power. Height-wise and body stature, you're pretty close to the same. He's probably taller than you a little bit. But all in all, a good comparison. So first thing I want to look at here, comparing both of you, is look at your grips. You're both very, very similar. You got the right hand in a very, very strong position, and you got a little bit of cup in that left. That's really good, especially for guys that have a lot of power and a lot of speed. You need to have those strong grip positions to stabilize the hit in your wrist position. But the biggest thing you can see here, difference between you two, is where you've got your shaft leaning. So you've got yours up in line with your left shoulder, and he's got his pointing towards his center body. So he's definitely going to hit up on it more. He's a long drive guy because his fulcrum is behind the ball. So that's going to tell you, if we drew from the butt end straight down, so that's his fulcrum. So that's basically where that club head, the driver head's going to be at its lowest point. It's going to be somewhere back in here, and then work up if he returns his hands to the same spot. Where yours, if we drew the butt end down, you can see your low point's pretty much right at ball. So your attack angle is going to be 0, -1, -2, maybe slightly up. But I'd guess more on the downside. Tour average is right around -1, -1.5. Where long drive guys like Jamie, their attack angle is going to be up 6, up 7, maybe up 8, using those long tees, really hitting the ball really high and far. So that's a little bit of a difference. I think the reason why you miss to the right some, maybe because the driver your hands get here, what I would suggest is just kind of relaxing them a little bit. This is a great position for like wedges up to maybe like a 6-iron, something like that. But from, once we start getting longer than that, I would like to see the butt end pointing, logo on your shirt to maybe towards the sternum, somewhere in this area. Just a little bit, just to relax the hands a little bit instead of getting them forward. The more we press the hands forward, the more the face is going to point to the right. So that's kind of some of the causes there, unless you make some manipulation. So let's start diving into the swing. So what we're going to see here with Jamie is a big, big churn. But the biggest thing, I'm going to put a line right here, kind of at the top of his belt. And we're going to kind of just imagine, I can't quite see because you got black on black, but your belt line's probably somewhere, I'm guessing in that area right there. So when we watch Jamie go to the top, you can see his belts come up, top of his belt, maybe an inch or so, right? So he's gotten taller in his legs. His head went up maybe just a tiny bit. That line's still pretty much even with his eyes, but you can see his hip line got a little bit higher. And so that's what we'd like to see with you a little bit. And what we see actually with you is maybe the hips go down just a little bit, kind of collapse a little bit. You both have this nice K, but you can see how with Jamie, that line, center line, was at his nose. Now it's down, his back, where yours is kind of the front of your chest. So he turned behind it more. Doesn't have necessarily, didn't move his whole center of gravity back behind it a little bit, but he just kind of churned behind a little bit more. So right here, you're kind of tipping over a little bit, which is going to get you more down and more to the right, which is those misses that you've got. So right here, I would just work on trying to stand up more like you do right off the ball. If you look at your move right off the ball, you can see how you move to the right there and start to kind of load and lift. Just continue that same motion and let your whole body kind of turn and get behind it just a little bit. We're just talking another 6 inches, letting your chest get more on your right side and get a little bigger K like Jamie's got over here. I mean, if we look at him, he's basically 154 degrees, and you're going to be 164. So just kind of get your chest kind of more on that right side just a little bit, kind of get you a little bit more behind the ball so you can kind of churn up into it. The other thing we want to look at, and you can really see it here because you can see his pleat in his pants is all the way outside the window, or on his outside of his leg. So if you can kind of see the pleat in his pants is kind of somewhere right there. Where I'm guessing if we could see your pleat's here. So he's just got a little bit more upper thigh rotation. So we want to rotate that thigh outward. So some external rotation with this thigh. You got good amounts of inner thigh rotation here at the left. You can see your angle in your left leg is nice turned in, not a lot of internal rotation. So those are good. So just a little bit more out turn with the right thigh and get the chest a little bit more behind it. And then that'll allow us to really come down. So you can see your transition from the top is kind of more of a lateral slide. Boom, 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 boom. And now the hips are almost working up in the air. Well, if we watch Jamie, you see this big old down squat, right? So both his legs get really wide apart. You can see how rotated they are and wide open he is here and narrow you are here. That's where he gets a lot of his power because he gets this down and he doesn't necessarily just squat. What he does is rotate those thighs and it lowers his midsection. Boom. Both toes, he's up on his toes right here because he's rotated so much. Belt line's below his original belt line, so it went up and now it went below. And now as he comes into the ball, he's going up some more. So because you slid and didn't really go down, you're kind of standing up and you can see you kind of throwing the head more. In fact, you can see here, this one you probably missed slightly to the right, I'm guessing, because look how much your handle is out in front and your chest isn't rotated behind it to square it up. See the face is a little bit open. So you can see how far back his chest has rotated and yours is kind of staying square. So you just need a little bit more rotation, kind of square that club face up. And you can see how much his leg is straight here. We'll kind of go back a little bit with you right there. And you've got this little bow in your front foot, and he's, boom, rotated back. His head's behind. So because he did a better job rotating behind it, he was able to rotate through the shot, maintain all that speed and power, and not miss it to the right. If he had his head more forward where it started, he would miss it right too, just like what you're getting. So just clean up that rotation a little bit on both sides, the back and through. With the driver, like I said, this position with lower irons is great. That's where you're going to want to be. But as we get into the drivers, we need to be just a little bit different. So just a few rotational things. If you have some more questions and want to learn more about it, I know you're diving into the golf swing pretty good. I can send you some articles and stuff. And actually have you even join a group that I'm in. It's the Lucas Wald group. So very good group of guys. They're studying more how the body works and rotates. And Jamie's one of their big examples because he's efficient, he's long, and he can really, really play. So work on those things. And if you want more information, just shoot me a message and I can get that over to you. So I'll get you this video. But keep working on it. It's really good. Just some rotational issues. And you'll be ready to go.